We are fully committed to protecting the environment, and we have an environmental management system in place to ensure our commitment is carried through every day. We install technologically advanced waste processing and monitoring equipment aboard our ships. Let's take a closer look at how we manage our waste.
The waste stream with perhaps the greatest potential environmental impact is sewage, also called black water. Black water comes from the toilets and from the drains and sinks of the infirmary. It is transported by a vacuum system through pipes until it ends up here in these designated tanks at the bottom of the ship. From here, it is processed through an approved marine sanitation device, or MSD. Most of our ships are fitted with an advanced wastewater purification system. In here, water goes through a series of treatment stages. After being screened for plastics and other solids, it is pumped to a tank containing special bacteria that digests the waste, producing mostly water and carbon dioxide. The liquid residue is then drawn through special micropore filters. These ultrafine filaments catch and hold biomass and suspend solids, allowing clean water to pass through to the next stage. In the final stage, it is passed through ultraviolet light for additional sterilization. The result is water so clean, it would meet the standard for drinking water in many communities.
Next is gray water. This is the water produced in showers and sinks, and the water used in galleys and pantries. Gray water is the largest waste stream produced by volume by a ship. Although gray water is not subject to the same regulations as black water, most of our ships process it with black water in our advanced wastewater treatment system.
Bilge water is waste collected in the bottom of the ship and consists of water from condensation and oils from lubrication, maintenance, and operation of machinery. What happens to the 2,200 gallons of bilge water a ship generates on average per day? It is collected in sumps and pumped into holding tanks. It is then treated by approved oily water separators that remove the oils from the solution. The processed bilge water is tested by passing it through calibrated oil content meters that measure the residual oil level. International regulations require a level of 15 parts per million of oil or less before the processed water can be discharged. Our oily water separator systems are automated so that if a sample does exceed 15 parts per million, it is redirected back into the holding tank automatically for additional treatment and another test. To prevent inadvertent discharges, we have installed secured monitoring equipment on the overboard bilge discharge system.
Ballast water is not waste, but it can have an impact on the environment if not properly handled. Ballast water is seawater that is pumped into holding tanks to control the stability and trim of the ship. Whenever we take on ballast water, we can also potentially take in local species of plant and animal. We can't just introduce these life forms into new waters. Introducing new indigenous species could be destructive in many ways. They could eventually upset an entire ecosystem. Some aggressive organisms can destroy and replace entire native species if discharged in an area that has conditions conducive to their reproduction.
So there are international rules and regulations, but also Holland American Line is following a strict ballast water management plan. It means that if they are traveling from, let's say, from Europe to Australia, they have to change the ballast water in the middle of the ocean, at least 2,000 meters deep and 200 nautical miles outside of any land.
Let's discuss air emissions. Obviously, cruise ship engines must be very large and powerful enough to propel thousands of tons of ship through the waters. On average, our ships can generate 50,000 or more horsepower. These engines can consume over 35,000 gallons of fuel each day. That's why we take extreme care when it comes to emission control.
U.S. air quality standards are some of the highest in the world, but our voluntary monitoring standards are more strict than U.S. requirements. To reduce emissions on our vessels, we use higher grade fuels where available for our propulsion systems and generators. During engine operation, emissions are monitored so that the engineering watch officer can adjust the operating parameters of the engines if necessary to minimize emissions. How are emission levels controlled? Through careful maintenance of engines to ensure top performance, and by reducing certain activities while in port, such as engine operation. For this reason, Holland America Line, in partnership with various local governments and shoreside utilities, have installed shore power facilities at several ports. Holland America Line has invested several $1 million over the past few years in shoreside and shipboard infrastructure to connect the ship's electrical networks to these local electrical utilities ashore.
In this way, we eliminate diesel engine emissions while the ships are at dock.
For our company and all of our dedicated employees, the ocean is our home. The ocean is where we work. Keeping the ocean safe and clean is good for the environment. It's good for global ecosystems, it's good for plant life, it's good for animals, it's good for our guests, it's good for our crews, and it's good for business. At Holland America Line, our goal is to be the industry leader in environmental management. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. We're committed to operating our ships safely while at sea to prevent injury or loss of life, to protect the environment and prevent pollution, to ensure a safe, high-quality cruise for our guests, and to continuous improvement in all that we do.
Thank you for taking the time to learn about the efforts we take to protect the environment. There is nothing more important, no greater purpose than safeguarding our guests, crew, ships, and the environment in which we all live. Our success and our survival depend on it. If you have any environmental concerns or suggestions, contact the ship's environmental officer,